He sold everything, moved halfway across the world, chased love and freedom in Thailand, thinking he'd found his forever home and his forever woman. But what started as a dream life quickly became a slow-motion nightmare. Deception, cultural clashes, financial ruin, and a broken heart. But just when everything seemed lost, he met her, a Filipina with no pretenses, a country with soul, a second chance at love and life. This is the raw, untold journey of one expat who thought he found paradise in Thailand, only to discover that true peace was waiting for him in the Philippines. But this isn't just a story of loss, it's about redemption. David found true happiness with a Filipina in the Philippines, but how did he get there? Stick around for a roller coaster of emotions, lessons, and a shocking twist that'll leave you speechless. You don't want to miss the ending. The dream begins. In his early 50s, David, a retired engineer from the UK, was burnt out from corporate life, lonely after a divorce, and looking for a fresh start. He began watching YouTube videos about expats living in Thailand. The cost of living seemed low, the women seemed kind and loyal, the beaches endless. David: I thought, why not me? If other guys can retire young and enjoy paradise, maybe I can too. So he packed his bags, sold his house, and landed in Chiang Mai with hope in his heart. In just 3 weeks, David met Noi, a charming 36-year-old Thai woman. She was sweet, attentive, and said all the right things. David: she made me feel wanted again, alive. I hadn't felt that in years. They moved in together quickly, traveled to Pattaya and Koh Samui. She introduced him to her family. Talk of marriage came quickly. But there were early signs, subtle, that things weren't quite right. Noi frequently asked for financial help, claimed her sick mother needed money, urged David to invest in a small business, a bar that she would run. He agreed. After all, love means trust, right? David thought marriage would be his ticket to happiness, but soon the bills started piling up. Noi's family needed money for a new house, then medical bills, then a business venture. David paid 300,000 baht, that's about $9,000, for a dowry, thinking it was a one-time thing. Spoiler, it wasn't. The cracks appear. Within months, the bar was failing. The family always needed more money. Noi was going out late with her friends. David started feeling like an ATM, not a partner. David: I began to realize she wasn't around because she loved me, but because I was useful. He tried to salvage the relationship, suggested moving back to Chiang Mai, downsizing. Noi refused. The final straw came when David caught her messaging another man late at night. Her phone screen lit up while she was asleep, and curiosity got the best of him. The messages were in Thai, but what he could translate was devastating. When confronted, Nuk broke down. She admitted she had been seeing someone else. The marriage, she said, was mostly for financial stability. Devastated, David filed for divorce. But in Thailand, divorce as a foreigner can be messy. He had no prenup. Property bought in her name, cash sent to her family, most of it was gone. Alone, broke, and heartbroken. David spiraled, lost over $70,000 in less than a year. The bar closed. His UK pension barely covered the rent. He was now alone in a foreign country, embarrassed, emotionally drained, and questioning everything. David: I felt like a fool. I thought I was smart enough to avoid these traps, but love blinds you. He considered going home, but something held him back. He wasn't ready to give up on Asia or on himself. A new chapter in the Philippines. David was done with Thailand. He joined expat forums and started watching YouTube videos of others who had gone through similar experiences. One recurring theme popped up: the Philippines. Curious, he booked a 1-month trip to the Philippines. David: landed in Cebu with a backpack and a broken heart. Thailand had been a whirlwind of expectations, money, family demands, cultural gaps. He told me, I just wanted somewhere I could breathe. The Philippines was different from the start. People spoke English, smiled without agenda, and there was this warmth. It felt like home. David arrives in Cebu feeling lost but intrigued by the laid-back vibe. He checks into a modest guest house and wanders the streets, noticing the contrast to Thailand's frenetic energy. A jeepney driver joking with him, a street vendor saying hello, and kids playing outside looking at him smiling and waving. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like a foreigner. David sits alone at a beach, watching families laugh, feeling both envious and hopeful.
David wasn't looking for love. He was done with that, or so he thought. But then he stumbled into a barrio fiesta in Cebu. Picture this: music blasting, kids dancing, and the smell of lechon everywhere. That's where he met Jane. David stands awkwardly at the edge of the crowd, watching locals dance. Jane, a warm and confident Filipina, notices him and offers a plate of pancit. She teases him about his shy demeanor, saying, "You look like you need more adobo in your life." Their first conversation is light but meaningful. Jane talks about her love for her community, her job as a school teacher, and her dream of traveling. David opens up about his struggles in Thailand, surprised at how easy it is to talk to her. David was smitten, but he was cautious. After Thailand, he was terrified of being used again. Jane wasn't like Noi. She didn't ask for anything, but David's past made him question everything. Their early days were a test of trust, and it wasn't all smooth sailing. David and Jane's growing bond. Jane invites David to help at a community outreach for kids. He hesitates, fearing it's a setup for financial demands. "This is how we live here, helping each other, no strings attached." David joins the outreach, teaching kids basic English. Show him smiling, slowly letting his guard down as kids hug him and Jane beams with pride. For the first time, I felt like I was giving without losing something. David was falling for Jane, but could he really leave Thailand behind? A big test was coming. They began dating, slowly. David, still healing, was cautious, but Jane never asked for anything. In fact, she insisted on splitting meals, paying her own way when she could. She wasn't looking for a savior, she was looking for a partner. David meeting Maria's family, nervous but touched by their warmth. They share stories over a meal of sinigang, and her Lola, grandma, teases him about his choppy Tagalog. After a year, David faced a choice: stay and marry Jane or return home. He talked to lawyers, expats, and local officials. He learned that getting married in the Philippines had benefits, but also risks. He and Jane decided on a prenup, open communication, and no shared bank accounts. David and Jane building a small home in Cebu, planting a garden. David wasn't just building a house, he was building a life. With Jane at his side, he found something he never had in Thailand: a sense of belonging. But was this happiness here to stay? That's where things get interesting. They married in a small church by the sea. It wasn't about starting over. It was about starting right. Jane remained independent but deeply loyal. She helped him understand the nuances of Filipino culture, how family always comes first, how respect is shown through actions, not words. They started traveling to nearby islands, exploring the beaches of Siquijor, the calm towns of Bohol, and the lush landscapes of Dumaguete. For once, life felt like it was moving forward, not crumbling behind him. A new chapter begins. One morning, Jane sat beside David, her eyes glossy, nervous, but with a subtle smile. "I'm pregnant," she said quietly. David froze, not out of fear, but from an overwhelming flood of emotion. For a man who had lost everything just a year ago, his trust, his money, and his direction, this was unexpected. But it didn't feel like a mistake. It felt like destiny correcting itself. As the months passed, David transformed. He renovated their home in Cebu to prepare for the baby. He read parenting books. He started a small online business in retirement consulting for other expats. Jane's pregnancy brought them even closer. Her family supported them but never interfered. David, now 54, found a purpose he thought he'd never have again, being a father and building something real. He was no longer running from the past, he was running toward the future. David reflects on his journey. He once thought his life ended in Thailand, but it truly began in the Philippines. Thailand was a dream that turned transactional. The Philippines was imperfect, but real. He shares advice. Don't rush into marriage. Learn the culture. Be cautious with money. Listen more than you speak. Find someone who values partnership, not just provision. Happily grounded. Today, David lives in a modest home in Cebu. He volunteers part-time, plays chess with local retirees, and spends time with Jane and their son. It's not the tropical fantasy he once imagined. It's better. I went looking for paradise. I found pain. But in that pain, I found truth. And from truth came love. David's story isn't just about romance. It's about what happens when you choose wisdom over fantasy. Would you do the same? Leave a comment below, share your story, and don't forget to subscribe.